Everything I'm telling you are things that I take to every single puppy class that I attend with my puppies. And yes, I have an amazing training facility here, but I still go off-site to puppy class because it's just so good for socializing your puppies to get them to different locations. So, going to more than one puppy class isn't a bad idea. Hey, the kiddo's going to school for the first time. How exciting, right? I meant the four-legged one. Puppy class is such an exciting time. And if you'd like to prep like a world champion, you're in luck, because today I'm going to go over absolutely everything that I bring to puppy class when I go with my puppy. Hi, I'm Susan Garrett, and I'm applying my more than 30 years of award-winning dog training to create videos so that you can bring out the absolute best in your dog. So you're going to puppy class. I'm going to tell you not only all the things that you should bring, but I've got 5 pro tips that I'm going to share with you throughout this video. Let's start packing a bag. Now, you can use any old gym bag that I know you haven't used for years, so dust it off and bring it out, and let's use it for your puppy. First thing you'll want to pack is your dog's vaccination certificate, because a lot of classes will insist on seeing that your dog has been fully vaccinated before they'll allow you in the class. Of course, we need a collar on your dog. Now I'm going to suggest you pack 3 different items that could work as your collar. First up, your simple, flat, clip-on collar. Nothing fancy, nothing dangling. Next up, a head halter. If you're like me, you put a lot of work into conditioning your dog to wear a head halter, so they love their head halter. You might want to put a harness in your bag, because this is something that if your dog doesn't walk nicely on leash, you can just put them on a harness if they're not conditioned to their head halter yet. So 3 different ways to control your dog, but of course they all have to be attached to something. That's where your leash comes in. A very plain 6-foot leash is all that you need. I also like to have a braided fleece one because it gives my puppy something to tug on if I don't have a tug handy. Of course, if we're going to puppy class, we need training rewards for your dog. Enter the bait bag. This is one that I just recently started using. I have so many different bait bags that I try out. I'm loving this one though. You've got your bait bag, you need treats. Make sure you pre-cut all of the treats you're taking to puppy training class so that you aren't breaking treats when you should be training the puppy. I like to have a minimum of 3 different types of treats, and ideally 5 different types of treats. One will be really low value, boring treat, something that is dry and crunchy maybe, but I like those to use before my puppy sees other distractions. And then I've got things like, I like to bake my own tuna brownies. Okay, I'm lying. I have people who work for me that do the baking, but there was a time I baked them for myself. I like homemade tuna brownies for my dog, or some sort of homemade treat. Another thing that I do is I buy a great big roast beef and I put it in the Instapot or in a pot on the stove to cook before I cut them up into small individual packages. I'll put them in little Tupperwares like this and I'll throw them in the freezer, taking one out that I can use during the week. Roast beef is what I call the emergency break glass now kind of treat. This is stuff's getting real right now. I need to get my puppy's attention. I'm going to the top of the value heap. The third treat that I would put in is a very healthy store-bought treat. So I like something like a Dr. Marty's is a treat that is just basically dehydrated raw food. It's small, it's chewy. I love using this because that's the size that it comes in and it breaks up super easily. If I buy a store-bought treat, it's going to be something that is got no fillers, no artificial anything in there. It's just 100% wholesome good stuff for my dog. That's what's in our treat bag, but I would like you to not put this treat bag anywhere inside your training bag for now, because the treat bag is going to be kept separate. More on that later. Cue the dramatic music. Next up, we need a couple of toys. So this is a long tug toy. You can drag it on the ground, and guess what? Any dog's going to run after it. And then I like a short tuggy. One this size is great because it's got a squishy ball that a dog can grab onto, but true story, they always like to hang onto the handle. Don't know why. A couple things you should not bring to puppy class. Something like this, a little squeaky. It's not really squeaky, but it's small and it bounces around. You're going to get the attention of every other puppy in the classroom, and the instructors are going to put you on the naughty list for Christmas. Trust me. Also, something like this, it's going to distract the other puppies, so keep those at home. So I always like to have a collapsible water bowl and a thermos for water. Now, I'll put water in here for the dog, but truth be told, I drink more than the dog does. Those are the bare essentials. Now we're going to the ninja layer of puppy class student. This is like top level, and here's what I bring. Number one is a tripod with a little apparatus so that I can put my iPhone in here and I video my training. What I'm not going to video is group lectures from the trainer, because a lot of trainers don't want you to do that. But this is a great thing to do, a little tripod that's lighter weight and easier to bring around. Number two, you will want a cot. I'm not talking camping. We call them your dog's hot zone. It's a raised dog bed, something like this. Call the crane! So it's simple, it's easy. It just pops open. Boom chakalaka. Okay, it's got to open bigger than that, but this is a big one. You don't have to get one quite this big. I often overdo it though. Call the crane! Next ninja layer is a topple, something that you can stuff, or a meaty bone that I'll keep in a plastic bag. At the end of every puppy class, they'll give you some extra training. That's when I will give my puppy their bone or their topple, and now they can chew on that on their hot zone while I'm listening to what the instructor has to say. Ninja secret. Finally, your training journal. Now this one is a custom built one, but I always have a journal where I write down what I'm doing with my dog, what went well, what didn't went well, what's my next plan, my next training plan for next time up. Boom, chakalaka, your chances of success have just gone through the ceiling. All right, let's get to those pro tips. Pro tip number one, arrive at puppy class at least 15 minutes before the class starts. You want to get your puppy out of the crate, let them have a potty on the grass, maybe sniff around, stretch their legs. This is going to be a new place for 5 minutes, and then I will put them back in their crate. Pro tip number two, grab your cot and your training bag, everything except your bait pouch and your leash and your puppy. Puppy stays in a crate in the car. And you take the rest of it and you go inside to set up. Pro tip number three, where do you set up? Now for me, if I've got a young puppy, I'll want to be really close to a door so that I can get the puppy out and have a potty break if it looks like they're about to have an accident. But if I have a puppy that's really distracted, I want to be as far away from the door as I can, because I'm going to get my puppy in the far away corner, and as the new puppies come in through the door, my puppy might be going, oh my gosh, it's a new friend. I haven't met that new friend. But they're going to be so far away, it'll be easy for me to get their attention back on, get off the hot zone, get back on the hot zone. That's why you want to get there early, because then you have an option of where you set up. The final ninja tip. When you get there early, play a little bit of hot zone where you get your dog up on the cot and give them a low value treat. Ideally, there's nobody else in the class, right? The other puppies haven't arrived yet, and you can give your puppy low value treats. They're getting reinforcement, they're engaging with you, and then you have them settle. And when the other puppies start coming through the door, you're now going to be ready to be proactive and engage your dog. Maybe do a little tug, get them back up. Your first puppy class might feel like a bit of a hot mess. That doesn't mean you're a failure. That just means you're normal. You've got a young puppy who's interested in everything, and they're not old enough to really understand how to control all that excitement. That's okay. Stick with it. It will get better, especially if you follow this plan to have the most successful puppy class ever. Now, if you have any questions or you would like to know more about things I do with my puppy that might be of interest to you, just leave me a comment and we'll see about a future video focusing on one of your ideas. This is where we get all vulnerable and say, are you a subscriber yet? Now, I can't get more vulnerable, but she can. Can you show them your belly? Yeah, she's asking. Please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't ever miss another video. And if you're already a subscriber, hold on. Mechanics are everything in dog training, but that's for you. Go ahead, give yourself another reward. Show them your belly.